Shalom, shalom, shalom. Shalom to the house of Israel scattered abroad. Shalom to all of my elders. Praise, praise the God of Israel. Praise his holy name, Yahweh, and praise his son's name, Yahushua. It is with great honor that I am allowed to speak the Most High's word. It's an honor, it's a privilege, and it's something that we should take into account when we speak the Most High's words. I want to make this disclaimer. We have to be very careful about what we teach people because we are responsible for what we teach people. And I see a lot of error in people's teaching that other people are picking up and running away with it. And it seems like that the fundamentals of our walk, the fundamentals of the scriptures are being missed. So today I want to talk about something. I want to correct something that I saw on Facebook. I want to correct something that someone was teaching on Facebook that spread that doesn't make sense to me. And I want to talk about the third temple, the abomination of desolation in the third temple. People are asking, where in the scriptures does it say that there's going to be a third temple? And they ask that question as to mean how prophecy is going to be fulfilled and when. See, these are people that don't want prophecy to be fulfilled. They want more time to drive in the car and make videos, or they want more time to do the things that they want to do. But we are on the Creator's time. We're not on our own time. We're supposed to be searching the scriptures so that we can determine the time. And it would be nice if we did that together. Now, let's make this quick and clear. The scripture is clear about what's going to happen. And you have to be wise enough to figure it out. If you do not believe in the New Testament, then what I'm saying to you is not going to mean much until I get to Daniel. So for the New Testament, for the Old Testament folks, let's go to Daniel first, and we'll knock that out. And then we'll head over to 2 Thessalonians and Matthew real quick. So if everyone is not familiar with the 70 weeks prophecy, I've already done a video on that. I don't mind doing another one, but I don't want to go into depth about the 70 weeks prophecy, because the debate is whether or not the 70 weeks ended in 70 AD or whether we still have 1 week left today. That debate is really, really bad on the side of those who think it has already occurred. Because if it's already occurred, then what are we looking forward to now? That final week of Daniel has not been fulfilled. The abomination of desolation has not been fulfilled. Let's go over what Daniel says in the 9th chapter real quick. And we're going to start at verse 24. Verse 27 is going to bring us up to where we want to be. But 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city. It's upon the people and the city. This determination would last until the end of time. This prophecy would last until the end of days. Listen carefully. 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city. The city as well, the people and the city. The people and the city. I'm sorry, family. So it's upon the people and the city. Oh my God. So watch this. My goodness, I'm sorry, family. I'm having a problem with my computer here. So, oh my God. 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and thy holy city, right? to finish the transgression. Transgression wasn't finished in 70 AD. To make an end of sins. That didn't happen in 70 AD. To make reconciliation for iniquity and to bring in everlasting righteousness. Didn't happen in 70 AD. To seal up the vision and prophecy and to anoint the most holy. Didn't happen in 70 AD. These events did not happen in 70 AD. He's giving you the overspread of the 70 weeks and what it will mean. Now he's going to give you the time frame. 25, 26, and 27 give you the time frame. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Yerushalayim unto the Messiah the Prince shall be 7 weeks. That's a time frame. Know therefore and understand that from, soon as he says that from the going forth of the commandment to restore until, gives you a time frame. Okay? Shall be 7 weeks. And 62 weeks, the street shall be built again, and the wall even in troublous times. And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with the flood. And unto the end of the war, desolations are determined. Now, verse 27 jumps up until our present end of time, because this verse 27 is the 70th week of Daniel. Daniel's last week. Daniel 9 and 27 is Daniel's 70th and last week, which lasts 7 years. And he shall confirm, he being the adversary, the anti-man, shall confirm the covenant, shall confirm the covenant, not a covenant, shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. He didn't say he'll confirm a covenant with Hebrew Israelites. He said many. And the many are the Jews in the land that are doing what they're doing right now. It did not say that he was going to make a covenant with natural Israel. Didn't say that. He's going to confirm the covenant with the Jews. And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. And for the overspreading of abomination shall make it desolate, even unto the consummation. And that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. We're talking about end of days scenario. The covenant that is to be confirmed is the Mosaic covenant of sacrifice, because that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with worship. The adversary knows how holy and sacred the Mosaic sacrificial system is, and he has mimicked priests, mimicked the artifacts in the temple to create his own demonic priesthood. That's the abomination. That's part of the abomination. He shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. In the middle of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. That should let you know that the covenant was about sacrifice and worship. Just like the mark of the beast is about worship. So let's make sure we understand Daniel 9 and 27. You don't have sacrifices without the temple. Now, you don't need the temple to sacrifice. Just need the holy instruments, the altar, to perform the abomination, to perform a abomination. However, the abomination that's going to cause the turn of events to the Great Tribulation is going to be when this gentleman, whether he sits in the courtyard, inside the temple, as long as he fits the requirements for saying that he's God, that you can stop sacrificing. I'm here. You no longer need any books. I'm it. You all are missing the point by arguing about a temple. A temple is going to be built. The Jews are going to build it. Somebody's going to sit in it. They're going to proclaim themselves to be Yah. When Israel does not fold, when they say, no, we're not doing it, that's when he's going to go after us. The war against the saints. Let me give you Matthew real quick. I'm going to give you Matthew, and I'm going to give you Thessalonians. For those that don't believe in the New Testament, I'm sorry for you. I really am. Matthew 24. The first 8 verses of Matthew 24 are the beginning of sorrows, and they are in the first half of the tribulation. The events in Matthew 24 from verses 1 to 13 are the events that happened during the first 3.5 years, which coincides with Revelation, the 6th chapter, and the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. The events in Matthew 24, 1 through 13, represents what happens in the first 3.5 years of the tribulation. Matthew 24, verses 1 through 13. Verses 1 through 8 are the beginning of sorrows. And then 13 gives you all the events that happened during the first 3.5 years. 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. When ye shall therefore see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, which we just read. Why is Yahshua quoting Daniel the prophet? Why is Yahshua quoting Daniel the prophet if this had been fulfilled already? Let's read. Think about, he's quoting Daniel. And remember, the Olivet Discourse is about events that's going to happen in the future. They asked him 3 questions. What shall these things be? The destruction of the temple. And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the age or end of the world? He asked them 3 questions. He's answering them. These answers that he's giving them is about the end of the age. The answers that he's given to these questions that were asked by the disciples, by the apostles, he's answering them concerning the destruction of the temple, the sign of his second coming, and the end of this age. That's what's being answered here. So when you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. The abomination is going to stand in the holy place. Where does it say a third temple is going to be built? Use your common biblical fundamental sense. In order to have sacrifice, you have to have all of the temple utensils, and it does say that this abomination, the image of jealousy, will be sitting in the temple. Stand in the holy place. It's going to stand in the holy place. Now, understand the abomination. Just because the Jews are the ones building the temple, just because the Jews are the ones performing the sacrifice, because the Jews are the ones that made all the instruments, this is what makes the abomination. This is what makes the abomination. And the Antichrist is going to use this abomination to stop it, stop the sacrifices, and proclaim himself to be God. Let's skip down to verse 20, 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Brothers and sisters, we're talking about end times here. We're talking about end times. We're talking about end of days. I see I'm going to have to do a whole expose on Matthew 24, Mark 13, and Luke 21. Matthew 24, Mark 13, and Luke 21. I'm going to do an expose on the Olivet Discourse from the mouths of Mark, Matthew, and Luke. The Olivet Discourse. Let's go to Thessalonians. And then I'm going to read from the book of Maccabees, so I'm going to give you some history. There's people out there teaching that don't know what they're talking about. And it's starting to really get on my nerves. And then people are listening to them, and then they can't hear sound doctrine. That's really starting to get on my nerves. 2 Thessalonians. Again, if you do not believe in the New Testament, I'm very sorry for you. Okay. But Daniel, the 9th chapter, should fill your plate for the information about the abomination of desolation in the third temple. They're literally, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know why we say the third temple, because the next temple to come will be the millennial temple, and that will be Israel's third temple. The temple of Solomon was the first. Then we came back and we rebuilt the temple from Babylon. That's 1, 2. Herod's temple was just a redo of the temple. So no, we're dealing with the millennial temple next. However, again, let me read 2 Thessalonians to you. Let no man deceive you. This is 2 Thessalonians, the second chapter, starting at verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called Yah, or that is worshipped, so that he as Yah sitteth in the temple of Yah, showing himself that he is Yah. What temple is this man going to sit in if it's not built? Listen to what he's doing. Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called Yah, or that is worship, so that he as Yah sitteth in the temple of Yah, showing himself that he is Yah. As my father said, you do not need a temple to sacrifice. They've been sacrificing very nicely without a temple. They just sacrificed the red heifer without a temple. That was an abomination. The sacrifice of the red heifer by the Jews, that was an abomination. But it's not the abomination of desolation that will bring forth those 6 things spoken of by Daniel. Remember the end of sin? Remember the anointing of the most holy? Those things don't happen until the end of days. And the most holy that's going to get anointed is not going to be the temple that the Jews built. So we take too much stock into looking at the temple. Where does it say it's going to be a third temple? You don't understand our history, fam. Y'all don't understand our history. Some of y'all that's been talking, y'all haven't studied. And y'all not reading. Some people doing more talking than they doing reading. You got to read and read thoroughly. Take notes, get your concordance, get you a Vine's expository dictionary, but you got to read. And then on top of that, we don't know who to listen to. We fall victim to every wind of doctrine that sound good to us. And I beg you all, it's going to take a great deal of humility for people. I beg you all to listen. I beg you to listen, because this is salvation we talking about. And you talking about other people's salvation. Now I'm going to read from you the book of Maccabees. I hope everyone understands what happened in the days of the Maccabees and the temple. I'm gonna read this. This is verses, the first chapter of First Maccabees, starting at verse 41. Then the king issued a proclamation. This is Antiochus Epiphanes. Antiochus Epiphanes, the manifestation of Yah God on earth. That's his name. The king issued a proclamation to his whole kingdom that all were to become a single people, each renouncing his particular customs. You all are going to have to understand that the conditions that I'm about to read to you are going to be the conditions that we are going to face during the Great Tribulation, and even some things right now. This is what Israel is going to face during the Great Tribulation. Renouncing his particular customs. The king issued a proclamation to his whole kingdom that all were to become a single people, each renouncing his particular customs. All the pagans conformed to the king's decree, and many Israelites chose to accept his religion, sacrificed to idols, and profaned the Sabbath. And many Israelites chose to accept his religion, sacrificed to idols, and profaned the Sabbath. The king also sent instructions by messenger to Jerusalem and the towns of Judah, directing them to adopt customs foreign to the country, banning holocausts, sacrifices, and libations from the sanctuary, profaning Sabbaths and feasts, defiling the sanctuary and the sacred ministers, building altars, precincts, and shrines for idols, sacrificing pigs and unclean beasts, leaving their sons uncircumcised, and prostituting themselves to all kinds of impurity and abomination. So they should not forget the law and revoke all observance of it. Anyone not obeying the king's command was to be put to death. Writing in such terms to every part of his kingdom, the king appointed inspectors for the whole people and directed all the towns of Judah to offer sacrifice one after another. Many of the people, that is, every apostate from the law, rallied to them and so committed evil in the country, forcing Israel into hiding in all their places of refuge. We had to hide from our own wicked people. Our own wicked people. The righteous had to hide from there. The tares in the wheat. The tares in the wheat. The tares in the wheat. Let the wicked and the righteous grow up together, and then at the end of my harvest, that's Israel. We talk about the tares in the wheat. That's another story for another day. Many of the people, that is, every apostate from the law, rallied to them and so committed evil in the country, forcing Israel into hiding in all their places of refuge. On the 15th day of Chislev, in the year of 145, the king erected the abomination of desolation above the altar, and altars were built in the surrounding towns of Yehuda, and incense offered at the doors of houses and the streets. Any books of the law that came to light were torn up and burned. Whenever anyone was discovered possessing a copy of the covenant, 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 or practicing the law, the king's decree sentenced him to death. Having might on their side, they took action month after month against any offenders they discovered in the towns of Israel. On the 25th day of the month, sacrifice was offered on the altar, erected over the altar of Holocaust. Women who had their children circumcised were put to death according to the edict, with their babies hung around their necks. And the members of their household and those who had performed the circumcision were executed with them. Yet there were many in Israel who stood firm and found the courage to refuse unclean food. They chose death rather than contamination by such fair and profane of the holy covenant, and they were executed. It was a dreadful wrath that visited Israel. First Maccabees, first chapter, verses 47 through 64. I would highly suggest you read that and go over that so you'll understand what we are going to go through in our day. It's called the war against the saints. We have to be geared for this. Don't sweat the small stuff. And what I mean by the small stuff, I mean the false stuff. We got to understand whom to listen to, family. We got to understand whom to listen to and whom is speaking Yah's words in truth and sincerity. Some people are speaking and they may have a sincere heart, but they don't know what they're talking about. Everybody that get a video don't know what they're talking about. Everybody that go live don't know what they're talking about. Please, family, the abomination of desolation is an end time event. There will be a temple erected, but you don't need a temple to perform the abomination, but there will be one so that the image of jealousy can sit in the temple. They've already burned the ashes. We are sitting debating whether or not they're going to build a third temple, but they're doing everything else to bring in the abomination. We're not talking about that. They are setting up the abomination of desolation, and there's going to come a time where we are going to lose this collective freedom that we have in this world. When the Antichrist takes over during the 3.5 years, all bets are off. Phone communication, phone lines are off. Jobs, no more job. No more supermarket unless you got the mark. No more supermarket unless you got the mark. No more drinking water unless you got the mark. Can y'all dig what I'm saying, no, Israel? Fam, there's going to be a temple built. And they are already preparing the abomination for it. Why are we asking the question, who said there's going to be a third? Who said what? I've had that question answered me 3 or 4, 5, 7, 9 times. Where does it say the Gentiles are going to build a temple? It doesn't say they're going to build a temple. I'm sorry. Scripture sternly tells us there's going to be a temple built and that there's going to be abomination performed in it. Second Thessalonians said that the man is going to sit in the temple of Yah, saying that he is Yah and being worshipped as Yah. Daniel told you that he's going to cause a sacrifice and the oblation to cease. Where does sacrifice and oblation happen? It's not. The abomination has already been underway. It's not that it's not, it's already underway. They have been sacrificing since 2017. Every sacrifice the Jews have performed has been an abomination. And we're going to come to the greatest abomination when they pull this Yehuda ben somebody out of the woodwork. While we're arguing about whether there's going to be a third temple. While we're debating and arguing about whether there's going to be a third temple, they're moving along with prophecy, fulfilling it. So the joke is going to be on us if we don't understand what's going on and then take action for it or take action against it. Brothers and sisters, I hope that I really and truly, I truly hope that you understand what was said here today. I really do. It's not going to be pretty for us once all these events fold down. The time of Jacob's trouble is not a vacation spot. The time of Jacob's trouble is not a vacation. So, brothers and sisters, I leave you all until the next time. I leave you in peace. I thank you if you took the time to listen and join. I hope that if you listen to it after this has been live stream, I hope that you comment, and I hope that it brings some revelation to your souls. Toda ya